All right, folks, we are hanging out with
We are.
Canadian icon, children musician slash folk musician slash
Family entertainer slash actor slash multi-talented human being.
multi-talent. I like that one actually.
I'll
the
leave it at
best.
that. Good.
Yeah, Fred Penner has a brand new album that he just released this past Friday.
Actually, officially, yeah, it was out on Friday, the 21st of April, and we did our CD launch at the Lula Lounge here in Toronto on Dundas yesterday afternoon. Jammed to the rafters, 250 people. It was fabulous. Great, great day.
Unreal that you've
Yeah.
been doing it this long, my friend.
This is 45 years. I started professionally making the mark or doing my best in 1972. So you do the math. That's 45. Yeah.
45 years, but growing up listening to your music, I know you have almost a newfound audience that's following you, and maybe it's just you're bringing them back. Would you say something?
Well, I'm sort of following them in a way. I'm certainly the kids who grew up with me, the collectively known as the Fred Heads, have been going to university. So I've been playing campuses coast to coast over the last number of years, and singing often many of the same songs that I would normally do in any family concert. And supplementing with a few of the tunes from my folk era, throwing in some Gordon Lightfoot or Joni Mitchell or Cat Stevens, in fact. And it's really wonderful to watch the kind of support that I'm being given for following the generation into their learning world. And now they are coming back to Soft Seat concerts and supporting what I'm doing. So it's a very symbiotic relationship we've got going here.
Also, those people also have kids now.
Of course they do, yeah.
Self included.
Many of them. Oh, yeah, lovely, good.
Yeah. We're turning our kids onto your music. I think back to Fred Penner's place back in the 80s. You crawled through that log 950 times.
Yeah,
plus.
exactly.
I see you still use the same guitar that you used on Fred Penner's place.
I actually have two of
Okay.
this model, but this one spent a lot of time coming out of that log.
Coming out of that log.
Yeah.
Maybe what have you taken different from? This is your 13th album.
Yes.
That was maybe different than when you started back in the 70s.
Well, I'm a much better musician than I was in the 70s, certainly. So I play better. My voice seems to be maturing. It's been really, really strong the last while, and it's interesting feeling that kind of transition happening, and the depth of my music has certainly has grown. I've always believed in the power of music to make a difference in the life of a child, as you know that phrase. But some of these songs get into another level. The importance of humility, the importance of courage, the importance of being proud of who you are. Hold your head up. There's songs in this album that I feel go a little bit deeper into the value and the importance of the human awareness.
You think about exactly what you just said with the awareness, and do you find it a responsibility today as an entertainer that you can help get that out there?
Well, I never know, and in a way it's none of my business how an audience relates to what I do. I trust myself implicitly, so when I put whatever integrity I have and with the people who I work with into a project, then the hope is that you, the audience, does accept this on the level that it's being offered, and that you take the ideas and concepts into your heart and do adapt them and realize that what I'm saying has, the values that I'm talking about. It's always a challenge though, when you're making yourself vulnerable through the creative process. To do this is a very personal experience. I like what has come out in this one. It's a little bit back to some roots for me, my folk world, even though many of the songs are are bigger than that. There's some beautiful arrangements, but then I get down to a nice gentle song, "This Is My World," with Ron Sexsmith doing harmony for me and with me, and then "The River Will Bend," the last song on the album, has Ron in there as well, with the beautiful guitar track from Afi in Bahamas. So it's this whole organic process that just filled me to the brim.
It's funny because great segue into who you actually work with on this album. Ron Sexsmith, Tara Lightfoot,
Alex Cuba,
yeah.
Basha Bulat, the Good Lovelies were part of it. Tara Lightfoot, you mentioned her. My children, my 4 kids, all sang harmonies. The Bee Gees on this. Of course, Ken Whiteley, who was my producer and multi-talented instrumentalist, he was on there. So it's and some beautiful drummer, Bruce Coburn's drummer, Craig. Forgot his first name. But a fabulous assortment of players, and
it
seemed to work.
It must feel pretty surreal, maybe, when you get an opportunity to work with such, like, Ron Sexsmith, for one.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
How did that whole conversation come about with you guys to be able to do this together?
Well, he's talked about this a couple of times. I was out for dinner with a friend here in Toronto, and we went to Toroni on Queen Street. And after having dinner, it was a beautiful night. This is last May, and we're walking down Queen Street, and there's Ron and his wife Colleen, who I'd met before. And I said, do you want to come for a beverage with us? He said, no, we're just going to go home. Why don't you come back to our place? So this was about 10 o'clock at night. We went back, and 4 hours later, we're still sitting in his front lawn, singing together and playing. And a little bit of red wine may have been consumed at the time, but it was because I've met Ron over the years, and we've had minimal connections. But this was the closest that we had, actually linked in our time together. And he's just a lovely human being, and I love his voice and his style. Yeah. And then I sort of broached the subject with his wife, with Colleen, and she said, yeah, I'm sure Ron would love to do that. And then a couple of emails later, and you sort of approach that delicately, when you're asking another iconic performer to be part of your work. So we connected, and he said, yeah, absolutely, he would love to do that.
I would think you would have a long list of folks that would love to collaborate with you.
The list was long, and I wish that I'd had double the material and time to do it. But at some point, we just had to say, we're never going to get this done if we don't sort of stop things along the way, and then finding the right songs for the performer. The songs that Ron sang were the right songs for him to be part of. I know Serena Ryder, we had done some stuff earlier on, and I really was hoping that she'd be around. That didn't work out, and Jim Cuddy, we've been pals for a while, and he's very keen to be part of a subsequent project. Yeah, so I think it'll be great. We'll see how this does, and well, maybe move on to another one.
Fred has a brand new album, Hear the Music. It's now available on anywhere you can download
iTunes,
your good music.
Linus Entertainment. Come to fredpenner.com. The links will take you there. Many stores are now handling it. The whole retail market for CDs is so unknown now, but hopefully you can find it out there. If not, give me a call.
Fred, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a delight. Thank you.
All right. Fred Penner, folks. Thanks so much.
Hurts your feelings.